Hi guys, it's Megan from Vigilante Vibes, and today I want to have another character discussion, like character breakdown. Well, not really. It's kind of a team breakdown. I want to talk about the Dark Avengers. We've heard a lot of theories being thrown out around that the Dark Avengers will have something to do with them. Mainly that the Thunderbolts will be the Dark Avengers, and when I say theories thrown around, I mean from me. So, I want to talk about who the Dark Avengers are, where they came from, and we have a lot to discuss. So buckle up, and I promise I will make this as easy as possible. So, the Dark Avengers, they were led by the one and only Norman Osborn. So, let's get into what happened, where they came from, what their deal is. During the final battle against the Skrull invasion of Earth, the ruthless Norman Osborn, former villain Green Goblin, and now the director of the Thunderbolts, killed the Skrull Queen. Using his technology from Oscorp, Osborn was immune to the corrupting influence of Iron Man's Stark tech. In the aftermath of the extraterrestrial crisis, S.H.I.E.L.D. was disbanded and replaced by Hammer, with Osborn at its helm, overseeing the Invitation, the program that governed the activities of the registered superhero community across the country. A dark era descended upon Earth's mightiest heroes, particularly the Avengers, as Osborn formed a cabal, a group of powerful individuals who united their resources to further their own agendas in the New World Order. The most powerful unit within the initiative was the government-sponsored Avengers, once led by Tony Stark, who is Iron Man. However, after Osborn replaced Stark as head of security, Maria Hill, the former S.H.I.E.L.D. director, was succeeded by Victoria Hand, a former business affairs operative who had openly criticized her employer's methods. Osborn promoted former Thunderbolts Bullseye, Moonstone, and Venom to the Avengers, rewarding them for their loyalty during the final battle against the Skrulls, despite their complete lack of morality. In order to cover up their criminal histories and gain public legitimacy, they adopted the identity of classic Avengers. Bullseye became Hawkeye, Moonstone was rebranded as Miss Marvel, and Venom was transformed into Spider-Man. Some existing Avengers also aligned with Osborn, including Ares, the god of war, who respected Osborn as a capable warrior, and the unstable Sentry, who, if you don't know who that is, you can look at my last video, and it will tell you everything about Sentry, who stayed on due to promises of help for his mental health issues. He is a diagnosed schizophrenic. To complete the team, Osborn recruited the deceptive and murderous mutant Daken. If you don't know who Daken is, he is the son of Wolverine. And speaking of Wolverine, Daken took on the persona of his father, Wolverine, and the Kree invader, Novar, who became the new Captain Marvel. Osborn himself donned the mantle of the Iron Patriot, blending the symbols of Iron Man and Captain America. Osborn led his Avengers to their first mission when Dr. Doom, a member of the Cabal, was violently attacked by the sorceress Morgan Le Fay in Latvia. The situation appeared resolved when the Sentry decapitated Morgan, but as a time traveler, she just reappeared and unleashed a new wave of dark magic and demons, corrupting Venom and petrifying Ares. As the Avengers struggled, Osborn ordered Dr. Doom to use his time machine to travel back and confront Morgan at her medieval castle. Doom successfully banished Morgan to the distant past, and the Avengers regrouped and left Latveria. Back at the Avengers Tower, when Sentry was seen alive, having mysteriously reformed, which unsettled Osborn. In the aftermath, the original Hawkeye, Clint Barton, who we all know and love, who was now a fugitive, appeared on live TV and accused Osborn of being an immoral and manipulative criminal, which is fair. Osborn responded by playing the victim, of course, delivering a convincing speech. Meanwhile, Moonstone used her influence to undermine the team by revealing to Novar the true nature of many of the Avengers. Shocked by the revelation, Novar managed to evade capture after making contact with the Kree Supreme Intelligence and acquiring a pair of negabands. San Francisco came under attack by Atlantean terrorist descendants, and Namor, the ruler of the fractured kingdom of Atlantis, was also a member of Osborn's cabal. Osborn ordered Namor to renounce the attackers, but Namor refused, escalating tensions within their secret group. In response, Osborn sent Sentry, who swiftly eliminated the terrorists, because that's what he does. Makes very quick work of it. Meanwhile, a separate crisis in San Francisco involved the mutant population who had sought refuge there. The introduction to Proposition X sparked widespread riots within the X-Men, led by Cyclops, clashing against the Humanity Now coalition. Seeing an opportunity to control mutant kind, Osborn not only deployed his Avengers to intervene, but also created his own version of the X-Men, led by another Cabal member, Emma Frost. This new team included Daken, Namor, and many other baddies that a lot of us do like. Like, who doesn't love a good villain? But even better, who doesn't love a good villain team? Relations between Osborn's Avengers and his X-Men were tense, to say the least, with Osborn continually keeping the Avengers sidelined. However, Frost eventually revealed herself as a traitor and aligning with Namor. Their true loyalty was to mutant kind, and they devised a plan to fend off Osborn and protect the X-Men from his influence. Osborn responded by unleashing his Avengers on Utopia, the island nation Cyclops had established outside of the government control. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the Avengers were unable to defeat the mutants, while Frost used her psychic powers to keep the Sentry from joining the fight. With no other option, Osborn admitted defeat and withdrew from the battle. But in a public display, he claimed victory in handling the mutant problem on American soil. The high levels of stress Osborn faced affiliated with his mental health as he gradually descended into madness. At some point, he was contacted by a high-ranking member of the government who wished the Avengers to locate his missing daughter. Hand traced her to a small town called Dinosaur, where many people had gone missing lately. In their investigation, Osborn ordered his master weapon, the Sentry, to go first as usual, because, he's the one that could take the hit. The mission was shown to be a major crisis, and almost immediately when the Sentry immediately exploded. Upon arrival, the Avengers were trapped in different fabricated scenarios by the Molecule Man. The Molecule Man tortured the Avengers, especially exploring the fragilities Osborn and the Sentry had. Victoria Hand then landed on Dinosaur by herself and surrendered. As she attempted to reason with the Molecule Man, the Sentry confronted him, realizing that he had similar capacities of altering the physical world. Hammer brutally attacked the Molecule Man, who was ultimately disintegrated by the Sentry. Upon return, Osborn's insanity escalated. In secrecy, his instability was also perpetrated by his supposed ally in the Cabal, the god of mischief, the one we all love, Loki. Upon returning to New York, the Sentry's wife, Lindy Lee, shot him with one of Novar's guns in an attempt to kill him. She's always been toxic, and I said it in my Sentry video. She appeared to have succeeded and revealed the truth of Sentry's origins, that he was actually an addict who had stumbled upon a formula that granted him his enormous powers while looking for a fix. The Sentry simply rose back to life, however, this time with the void in control of his senses, which is not what anyone wants. In a moment of clarity, the Sentry attempted to kill himself by flying into the sun, but failed. Back to New York, he unleashed his enormous powers until Osborn managed to talk him down. As a solution to his problem, Osborn ordered Bullseye to take out Lindy in order to make the Sentry more reliant on and dependent on. Another rupture into the Cabal involved Doctor Doom, who, upon disagreeing with Osborn, launched an attack against the Avengers Tower. The building was evacuated as the Sentry took care of the crisis. Bullseye took the opportunity to assassinate his wife, claiming she had unalived herself. The Sentry underwent breakdown, becoming the ultimate weapon Osborn wished him to be. Loki's ultimate move in his schemes involving Osborn was to convince him of the danger posed by having the magical realm of Asgard on Earth. He argued that Asgard threatened Osborn's powers and suggested orchestrating a disaster to justify an assault on the Golden City. Together, Loki and Osborn tricked Volstagg of the Warriors 3 into fighting the UFOs in a stadium full of people, resulting in numerous casualties. This provided Osborn with the excuse he needed to take action against Asgard, mobilizing all the forces under his command, including the Avengers, Hammer, the Thunderbolts, the Initiative, and the Hood's gang. He also manipulated Ares into believing that Loki had taken control of Asgard, using this as a pretext to formulate battle plans for the invasion. Thor, the mighty defender of Asgard, you may have heard of him, resisted, but was ultimately defeated by these Avengers. Amid the battle, Ares realized that Asgard posed no real threat and turned against Osborn. However, Ares was swiftly killed by the Dark Sentry under Osborn's orders. Determined to stop Osborn, Steve Rogers, Captain America, reassembled the Avengers to join the war, receiving support from groups like Maria Hill, Nick Fury's Secret Avengers, the Young Avengers, and Tony Stark. After Osborn was taken down by the heroes, he commanded the Sentry to destroy Asgard and leaving it in ruins. The Sentry proved to be an uncontrollable force, and in his regret, Loki realized that he had pushed too far. He used the Norn Stones to empower the heroes fighting alongside Asgard. Seeing through Loki's deception, the Sentry killed him to reverse the effects. In a final attempt, Tony Stark took control of the Hammer helicarrier and dropped it on the Sentry, forcing him to revert back to his human form. Powerless, the Sentry was mercy killed by Thor, who cast his remains into the sun. In the aftermath of all this, Osborn and his Avengers were largely arrested, obviously. After Norman Osborn was freed from prison and regained control of New Hammer with Hydra, AIM, and the Hand backing him, he formed a new group of the Dark Avengers. This team included Apak as Spider-Man, Trickshot as Hawkeye, Toxic Doxy as Scarlet Witch, Superia as Miss Marvel, Gorgon as Wolverine, and Sakaar. Their first public appearance occurred when Victoria Hand informed them of the situation in Miami, while she stalled the New Avengers, who arrived later to find the Dark Avengers had already taken control. A battle ensued between the New Avengers and the Osborn's team, but they quickly realized they were outmatched. Doctor Strange teleported the New Avengers to a rooftop, but then Ragnarok appeared. Ragnarok nearly wiped out the team with a powerful strike of his hammer, injuring Wolverine and overpowering Luke Cage before attempting to kill Spider-Man. Both Luke Cage and Wolverine were able to severely damage Ragnarok, leaving him to Osborn while they retreated from the scene. When NYPD SWAT seized Avengers Mansion under Osborn's orders, Cage's team went into hiding at Victoria Hand's apartment. As they prepared to track down the New Avengers, Sakaar betrayed them and launched an attack. When the Thunderbolts went missing in time, the Dark Avengers were recruited as their replacements. Luke Cage volunteered to be their supervisor, with Sakaar acting as Luke's muscle on the inside. The Dark Avengers were sent the Sharzad on their first mission. They quickly came into contact with the forces of Dagon Shaw in the form of monsters. They defeated them, displaying great teamwork. However, it became clear that the Dark Avengers had an agenda of their own after taking off and leaving Sakaar and Cage behind. They tracked down the Wender and invaded Shaw's palace in order to reach the source of power, which was a Regilian subspace pocket. After bringing Wender, where he would begin to channel all of the energy present. After their time with the Thunderbolts came to an end, Toxic Doxy, Ragnarok, Trickshot, Apak, and Moonstone were placed in a transport ship accompanied by John Walker and Sakaar. When an explosion rocked their ship, Man-Thing panicked and opened a wormhole, which led to them going to an alternate Earth. On this new world, all new major superheroes had become warlords, each ruling their own factions and fighting for control of New York City, because it always comes back to New York City. Captured by Iron Man's forces, Toxic Doxy, Ragnarok, Trickshot, AI Apak. Also, if I'm mispronouncing that, please let me know, because in my head, it's always been AI Apak. And I know that's not right. But once you read it that way, it's kind of stuck that way. So, and Walker, they were all imprisoned. However, Doxy managed to break free and took control of him, an Iron Man ally, along with his lab, using it to conduct experiments on her teammates. Meanwhile, Moonstone and Sakaar were captured by Doctor Strange, who used his magic to enslave them. Doxy employed her bioengineering expertise to restore Walker's lost limbs with the Venom symbiote, shrank AI Apak to a miniature size, and performed extensive surgery on Ragnarok's brain. The Dark Avengers set out to kill Doctor Strange, hoping to free Sakaar and Moonstone. After battling forces who were aligned with Strange, Moonstone managed to slip away and return to the lab, where she found Ragnarok waking up. Iron Man attacked them, but the newly revived Ragnarok overpowered him, though Stark's consciousness escaped into another suit. During the skirmish, Pym was killed. Following the surgery, Ragnarok became fully aware of his identity as a clone cyborg, which was really cool. I'm not even into that cyborg business, but I thought it was really cool. Moonstone then brought him the Mjolnir, or Jonathan, as some would say, if you know, you know, of the Dark Earth's Thor, and Ragnarok was able to wield it. Meanwhile, Sakaar discovered from Reed Richards and a captured AIM agent that AIM was responsible for creating the Dark Earth by manipulating reality with temporal shifts. This pocket dimension was on the verge of collapsing because of the Dark Avengers' interference. AI Apak managed to kill Doctor Strange by poisoning him. With Moonstone and Sakaar freed, the unified Dark Avengers set their sights on AIM, and they managed to escape the collapsing pocket dimension and return to New York. Sakaar abandoned the group, and Toxic Doxy crushed the still shrunken AI Apak underfoot. U.S. agent John Walker appeared to be leading them, but Doxy was secretly controlling his mind. The team seemed to disband after, with its members either going their own separate ways or retiring from superhero work altogether. So, that is the Dark Avengers. That's how they came to be, and it was all because of Norman Osborn. There's quite a bit to read about the Dark Avengers, but I would look up the reading order of the Dark Reign event, which I think is the best way to go about it. And there's so many comics in this event. It was mostly what Marvel put out in 2009. It starts with the New Avengers, number 48, then goes to Thunderbolts, 126 to 127, Secret Invasion, Dark Reign, number 1, Uncanny X-Men Annual, number 2. If you're using Marvel Unlimited, it's hiding there as X-Men Annual 1970, number 2. And then Invincible Iron Man 8, New Avengers number 49, Dark Avengers number 1, Thunderbolts number 128 to 129, Dark Avengers 2, New Avengers 50, Dark Avengers 3 to 4, Dark Reign, Fantastic Four, numbers 1 through 5. All New Savage She-Hulk, number 1 through 4. Dark Reign, The Goblin Legacy, Dark Reign, The Cabal. New Avengers, 51 through 54. Dark Avengers, number 5 through 6. Amazing Spider-Man, numbers 595 to 599. Invincible Iron Man, number 9 through 13. Dark Avengers / X-Men, Utopia, number 1. New Avengers, number 55. Uncanny X-Men, number 513. Dark Avengers, number 7. Uncanny X-Men, 514. Dark Avengers 8. Dark Avengers, Uncanny X-Men, Exodus 1. Dark Avengers, The Confession, number 1. New Avengers, number 56 through 60. Dark Reign, The List, Avengers. New Avengers Annual, number 3. Dark Wolverine, number 81. Dark Reign, The List, Wolverine. Dark Avengers Annual, number 1. Thunderbolts, number 132 to 134. Secret Warriors, number 7. Thunderbolts, number 135. Secret Warriors, number 8. Thunderbolts, number 136. Secret Warriors, number 9. Invincible Iron Man, 14 through 17. Thunderbolts, number 137. Dark Reign, The List, Punisher. Dark Reign, The List, Spider-Man. Invincible Iron Man, number 18. Iron Man Requiem, number 1. Invincible Iron Man, number 19. Dark Avengers, 9 through 12. Thunderbolts, number 138 to 140. Thor Giant Size Finale. Thor, number 604 to 606. And Invincible Iron Man, number 20 to 24. There are other ones you can add in there, like from Siege. Siege, The Cabal, Dark Avengers, number 13 through 15. Siege number 1, Rescue number 1, New Avengers number 61 to 62, Dark Avengers number 82, Siege number 2 to 3, Dark Wolverine number 83 to 84, Thor number 607, Siege, Loki number 1, New Mutants number 11, Thor number 608 to 609, New Avengers number 63, Siege number 4, New Avengers number 64, Thor number 610, Dark Avengers number 16, and finally, New Avengers finale number 1. I hope someone reads that because that was not a fun list to go through. I just hope it helps someone. So yeah, you see where they came from, you see what they're about, you see who's on the team, and you can see why there is an inkling that Dark Avengers will be involved with the Thunderbolts movie. So at the very least, I think we'll get like a reference. Like when in the trailer they say, we can't be called the Thunderbolts. I think that'll be probably followed up by, what are we going to call ourselves? The Dark Avengers? Or something like that. I think there's going to be some kind of reference. And now you know where the reference comes from. So that was my character breakdown. Another character breakdown. I have many more on my channel, so please go check them out. I have Punisher, Sentry. I have so many. So let me know which ones you like. Let me know how you liked this one in the comments. And let me know if there's any other characters you want to break down on, because I really like doing this. And my ideas are limited because I'm always tired. But that's all right. So, like and subscribe. Make sure you don't miss any more of my videos. And have a marvelous day.